All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength of Power. So I constantly see people comment about Roelly Winklaar in my videos, especially the ones about the Mr. Olympia, predicting that he's going to be in the top 3. Now, I disagree with that opinion. Now, obviously, I think Roelly is a great bodybuilder. He's got a great physique, but when it comes down to the Mr. Olympia, I don't think he's complete enough to actually beat somebody like Phil Heath or even a Dexter Jackson or a Sean Roden. And here's why. So I think he's kind of like a miniature Big Ramy. So every year, like we all know with Big Ramy, he posts the pictures in the off season. Everybody freaks out. He looks great in the off season. They both train at Oxygen Gym. They both take these crazy off season pictures in this crazy Oxygen Gym lighting. They post it. Everybody freaks out. Oh, look, he looks giant. He looks crazy. He looks massive. This guy's going to win the Olympia. This guy's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But the problem with Roelly Winklaar is a very similar problem to what we're seeing with Big Ramy. He just doesn't come in conditioned enough, consistently enough. So Big Ramy obviously has conditioning problems. He's had them in the past, and he's had them recently. And Roelly Winklaar is the exact same way. His conditioning never seems to be amazing. He's never really peeled to the bone. Granted, he does have a very, very crazy, most muscular pose. But aside from that, what else does he really have that's very impressive? In my opinion, his back double biceps looks very, very shallow when compared to other people's back double. I mean, his biceps look good, but they almost overwhelm his back. Actually, they do overwhelm his back in the back double bicep, and that's going to really hold him back, I think, from placing higher. I think his legs, they're good. They match up okay with the upper body, but I don't think they're good enough because his upper body is so crazy and so round and full, and he's not really notorious for having big legs. So I think his legs do enough to balance out the upper body, but if they were a little bit bigger, I think his physique would look a little bit better with that, because he looks kind of top heavy in my opinion. I will give him credit though. He was notorious in the past for having kind of a bubble gut, but it seems like he's kind of learned to control his midsection and has looked better in recent years. So I will give him credit for that. He has improved on that. He does look freaky in these pictures. I will say the picture that was posted a couple days ago in Oxygen Gym's bathroom or whatever, I mean, he looks crazy, but I think he did the exact same thing last year, of him hitting probably the same most muscular shot, and everybody freaked out and thought he was going to win the Olympia. Now, I will give him credit. I think he could definitely place in the top 6, and he could be a threat to the top 3. If his conditioning was on par, if it was, 100%, dialed in and super diced, I think he could definitely make the top 6, absolutely. And I think he could be a threat to the top 3. However, I think Roelly Winklaar, 100%, 110% Roelly Winklaar, next to an 85 Phil Heath, 85% Phil Heath, loses every single time, because as soon as they turn around from the back, Phil Heath is just going to shut that shit down. Even if he's 80, 85%, his back double bicep, his back lat spread, he looks so impressive from the back compared to Roelly Winklaar that as soon as they turn around, it's game over. I mean, Roelly can probably hang with him in the arms department. The front of Roelly Winklaar could probably hang with him. I think Phil's legs are a little bit better than Roelly's. And as bad as Phil's gut has been in the past, I think Roelly is a little bit blockier in the midsection than Phil has ever been. So I think the advantage definitely would go to Phil. So I think even if Roelly cracked the top 3 and he's in that comparison for the top 3 spot and in that comparison to try to win the Olympia, I think there's never a chance of him beating Phil Heath. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think it's possible for him to beat Phil Heath? Do you think it's possible for him to win the Olympia? And do you think he will be in the top 6? Now, keep in mind, you guys got to set aside your hatred for Phil Heath, man. I know a lot of you guys hate Phil. You don't like him. And for that reason, you don't want to see him win the Olympia. But it's not about what you want to see. It's about what the reality is going to be. So what do you think the reality of this year's Olympia is going to be?